Hello and welcome to another Culture Foolishness recap of Power Book 2 Ghosts for season 4, episode 9. And yeah, we get into it. This is right before the season or series
Series.
finale. So yeah, this is real. I am Creed of Exodus Studios, architectsmars.com, and my co-host is
Coach Tamara Simone, your favorite life coach's favorite life coach. If you don't know, then now you know.
baby. So yeah, this starts off pretty much hitting the ground running, shows Noma getting ready for the wedding, shows Kane getting ready for the wedding with his do-rag on and looking very niggerish, but he's Kane.
Very, I was going to say, instead of niggerish, I think it's very thuggish, ruggish bone.
Okay, I could take that too.
Um, yes, so this was the Power Universe's first wedding. Don't
Hmm.
know if there'll be another one given this outcome, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna be another one. This really went poorly. So, they show um no not Monet and
Monet
Drew
and Drew and
and her
Diane and her
and no no
sister.
no no the way they show them, but she's not with them.
Oh,
This
that's
the
right. She's in.
sister.
Yes, you're
Right.
right.
She's at they just like she's basically like, what, are we not going to the wedding? What's going on? And of course they salty about the whole thing and don't want to go. And then Drew texts Diana, asks her, are we going or not? She leaves her exam because she's distracted in general. So she just leaves. And
And Effie got accepted to Stanford.
And
Shout out to
she
Effie.
good shout out to Effie. And Tyreek stayed and he been doing his schoolwork. That's one thing man, talk about focus. Cause this
Talk
man
about someone
really,
with talk about someone with good time management skills
cause I don't know how he not failing college. He doing good and killing niggas on the side. It's really crazy, to
and
be
selling
honest.
drugs and
Selling drugs, all type of shit. So from there we see Braden moping about his little girlfriend, and then Carter calls Tyreek while he's basically trying to shake this nigga to stop being on some bullshit.
well, can
And
we just quickly talk about how the advice that Tariq gives Braden about being a simp and simping it up for one every girl who he's, as he so eloquently put it, sluts
sluts
him
him
out.
out.
Um and
I love
Braden
that.
kind of embraces this the simping as being like,
You ain't
what's wrong
wrong.
with that? Like, it's a good slutting out session and I want more of it.
He's,
Um
he's interesting.
and then that life coaching session that Tariq was giving was interrupted by Carter, who called Tariq to tell him that there was someone trying to move in on territory or something of that effect in Staten Island, and told
Mhm.
him that he needed to go handle it at night alone, unarmed or something like that. He say unarmed. He
No,
must
he didn't
okay.
say unarmed. He didn't.
He
Try to
wanted
set
him to
up.
be unarmed.
Right, he didn't set him up that bad, but he at least, he was like, well, yeah, go at night, blah blah blah. So he basically reluctantly agrees to do this because he definitely was pushing back on that as he should. And then they show Drew get up with his little crew and they're talking about Tyreek getting this job, and now he's privy of it, but he's such a clown. He's thinking that he wants to horn in on his position, which of course he has no desire to be working for no pig at all.
But yeah, but the thing is, here's the thing. Drew knows that Tariq is included in all of the shenanigans.
Right.
So Carter's like, "Welcome to the club," or whatever the hell he
Right.
called it. So he knows that Tariq is included. So he thinks that Carter is trying to, replace him with Tariq, because really Carter
Mm,
don't care who do it, long as they get done for real.
that's
Um,
true.
so that was kind of the angle that Drew was looking at it from. So
Uh-huh.
that's why he felt threatened. But looking at it now in hindsight, if the whole thing was a setup to get Monet and Tariq out the game, then what was the point of telling Drew's crew?
Now, I don't think that I feel like that was like accidental because I can't see that being on purpose
Carter telling
because
Tariq's crew? Because the
because
crew was the one who was like, Carter sending him on runs. Why he not sending you? Why do they even
why
need
do
to
they
know
even
that,
know?
since it's a phony run? It's not even real.
Well, if I'm being 100 and this is me as a creator that makes things, sounds like the writers made a mistake right there, low key, because it don't really make sense for them to know in a sense. It's like one of these things where it's like, okay, you drop a breadcrumb for this character just to move the story along, but in theory, why would he even be privy to it in any way? So that's my critique, and I will bust those out.
Okay, but as long as we agree that it was purposeless for them to know
Oh yeah.
outside of letting Drew know, so Drew just so
Hmm.
happened to know that Tariq will be in Staten Island doing a run for Carter.
Right.
So
So that was
anyway,
weird. So the
moving
next
along,
scene or the next part is them having like a wedding
like a
dinner, a
rehearsal dinner.
rehearsal dinner, and Monet and Drew and Diana show up.
And it's
And
like, why would you even want these niggas at a dinner table?
yeah,
We've seen what happens.
and it proceeds to be what normally happens. They be, talking the shit that they be talking to the
It
point
was shuffle
where
worthy.
it was where to the point where Noma has to basically excuse everyone so they can have their little side conversations that they need to have and stop just blowing her whole spot up.
Well, everybody's spot got blew up because, since Kane is the only one living in a penthouse, and it's like, oh, this is your penthouse. And Monet is like, well, first Drew is like, we were living here together. And then Monet is like, this shit is mine. So then it turns into, regardless of whose it is, like how y'all afford it. And then Noma tries to twist this whole like, oh, well, they own a family bistro. And the bar that don't ever have customers or bartenders. Um, so it turned into a whole thing. And yes, as it was getting too real in the field,
Mm-hmm.
then everyone got excused, and Monet, talked to Kane for a while, in the
And
sense
they,
that she actually, was like, you're a good son, and kind of like words of encouragement outside of her
mm-hmm.
usual, you
Right.
know.
Still not agreeing with what he was doing per se, but definitely just trying to, be a mom. And that was
That was nice of
a
her.
tender moment
Yeah, because
that
even he was
was
like, wait, I ain't never heard you say that. Say that shit again.
like, let me hear that again. That should sound good. That should sound good to me.
Right,
Shit.
right. Yes.
But yeah, so that was good. It definitely was a necessary conversation, especially in light of what ultimately went down in this episode, which is kind of
But before that, of
Mhm.
course,
Oh
and
yeah, right.
back into the realm of this conversation, after they had their moment, then Drew and Diana come back, and Drew and Kane have a few words, and
Hmm.
basically Mona is like, look, just squash all that shit, and just let's just be in this moment, whatever this moment is.
Right. And they did have, I was like, oh, look at them hugging each other, acting like brothers. Look at
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah. And
Oh.
then Monet leaves, and that's when she's confronted or
By
approached by
right.
Noma, you
About
know.
the Staten Island setup continues, basically.
Well, right, but masked as like, oh, we're family and we have to stop this. And she pulled a Rodney King and was like, can we all just get along? And that type of foolishness. And Monet is basically like, all I care about is the well-being of my kids. I don't want to work with you no more.
Mhm.
It ain't that type of time. You know, break us off this paper. And then that's when she's like, well, I have something better than money. And she gives her the key to the spot in Staten Island. So that's how Monet is now included in this Staten Island um setup, for lack of better
I
words.
mean, that's what it is,
Oh no, yes, it's a
because
yes.
now obviously at this point Tariq has gotten sent there, and Noma,
No, and
and
Monet.
Monet, excuse me, and then they names are too similar. They should have did something about that, but that's another
No,
conversation.
that's just you.
I know it ain't just me. That's a very they names are very similar. Um, so after that scene, we go to the bachelor party of Kane, and Lil Durk is in there and
So
have
Lil Durk makes his
really
acting debut. Just I am just giving the commentary of what occurred.
that is what occurred. His be in the show debut, because I don't know if you could call that acting.
Well, Lil Durk
Um,
plays Kane's cousin. Now,
mhm.
what I found weird, what I think the strip club scene was weird. And maybe I'm just a little too used to watching BMF, because in spite of anything that you feel about BMF,
The
those
strip
scenes where
club
they're in the
scenes are
strip
good.
clubs, it is a lituation.
This
Like
isn't
the
at the
people.
strip club. This is at the bar with strippers. That's at Monet's bar.
Oh, you mean the bar where don't nobody work at? Same
Mm-hmm.
difference. Same difference. Um, it's still and it showed. We'll just say that.
Right.
I feel like the consultants on BMF are clearly the same people who are doing P Valley, which we will never see again because these niggas act like they don't have no sense. But I digress as far as
Oh,
that's concerned.
okay.
We've been waiting too long for a new season.
It's gonna
I
happen.
digress.
It's gonna happen.
Whatever.
So
So
Diana,
anyway,
so Diana
yes.
and Drew have a heart to heart because she's telling him how obviously all of the things that have happened over the past few weeks have impacted her focus in school and just her overall drive of what she wants to do going forward in general. And, he reveals that he has the opportunity to go to Paris for a fellowship for art, which his nails need to do and stop being weird. I don't know why
Won't.
but he
Won't.
not.
Won't.
He,
But yes, that they discussed that, and then there's a part, the next part essentially is Drew and Diana, they're still talking, just like they moved to another part of the club. Oh yeah, because like they had a little stripper moment where
right,
everybody was
right,
taking
right,
shots, and it
right.
was like like a thing, and they were like bonding
Mhm.
the Tejada kids or whatever. Um, and just as Kane had made like a little remark about Tariq, then Effie pops up. So she like, why don't you
Mhm.
go over there and holler at your little mistress? And
Which was funny because that was
good,
very
because it was very
essentially
accurate.
what it was.
Indeed. And so so Effie pops up, and that wasn't the plan. However,
Got some
Effie
more
pops up
information.
because the drop was changed. And instead of the usual meeting spot, then the Russians, Vladimir and his crew, are now going to Staten Island. So now Drew knows
Diana
about Staten
and Drew
Island.
hears it.
And Diana is on alert because she tries to call Monet, and Monet is not answering. So she calls her aunt and finds out that Monet is going to Staten Island. So it's like Monet's going to Staten Island, Tariq is going to Staten Island, and Vladimir is going to Staten Island. So Drew and Diana's antennas go off. So they immediately leave, and Kane takes Effie to give
To
her some
go
D one
talk.
more time.
To go talk. I was like, let's talk. I was, as soon as she said it like that, was looking up like that, I was like, oh, he about to hit. He about to hit right now. That's what's about to happen. Coming
And
over there
did.
with that damn cute ass outfit with the look. Yes, Lord. Sure did. And this the funny part. While this is going on, Noma is getting broke off by Davis.
Broke.
For
Oh,
real.
banged out.
They damn near redid the fucking camera angle from Belly the way DMX was hitting Keisha. If you get the visual references like I do, because I'll be picking up on the shit. And he
Yes,
let him
indeed.
start, they showed his booty and everything. I didn't want to see none of that, but I'm sure the
I
ladies
wasn't
were.
angry about it.
I'm sure y'all were not.
I was
I
not
was
upset.
I could have gone my whole life without seeing Method Man's butt, but it
I
is
mean,
fine.
all the titties we didn't synced on there that we could have look, we got our own titties, we don't care. But hey, so it just is what it is. It's just equaling the playing field. So,
Yeah,
and
I
yeah, they
guess.
were definitely getting some things popping for
Mhm.
sure. And it was just, and I ain't gonna tell you no lies. Davis was breaking her off way better than Kane was breaking Effie off. Now, here's the thing, because it's twofold.
Mhm.
Because it could be that that's the reason why Noma is fucking on Davis to begin with, because this nigga's stroke game is cool or whatever, but it ain't that.
Davis, but that yeah.
Or plot twist. Kane stroke game was so weak because it's Effie and don't nobody stay with that box. So it could be either or. Like, why give all that effort for that? It
Mm,
could be that Kane breaks off Noma a very similar way and she just wants variety. We don't know. That's
I
for the audience to figure out and discuss as we are right
personally
now.
personally I think the second thing was right because Noma all mean and fine, and I just know that it's probably crazy. I already know.
But see, Effie,
She mean too, but it's
she
something about
mean,
her that
but
don't really. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not
hey,
gonna get deep
this
into it.
niggas don't stay. It's giving stop and go. So anyway,
Not Bucky's,
back
huh?
not Bucky's,
Noma is Bucky's.
okay. So
So
now back to
they
Staten Island.
back to Staten Island. So Monet it shows up trying to open the little joint that she got the key to. Then Tyreek pulls up, and when he pulls up, they realize it's a setup. Not too long after, the Russians pull up, and they got the drop on because they got the fucking heavy artillery on their ass. So, we thinking shit that they fucked. But guess what? What did we just foreshadow before? Drew and
Drew and
Diana's
Diane.
on the way. And man, I get Drew this, man. He be killing some people, man. He be like, shit, I did it already now. So what the
Right.
fuck?
This is just what we do now. This is where we are. And I
And
guess after Cocaine Elaine's demise, Diana then got her cherry popped. So she's a
yeah,
little
she
bit more
said,
willing.
right. Yeah, she's like,
That she's
look,
not good,
bam.
but she's willing. She's getting
Yeah.
her
I
feet
don't know if
wet.
she even hit him, but she did shoot.
She showed up. And and sometimes all you need to do is show up.
We're terrible.
I'm
Shame. I don't know if she got actually shot anybody, but she came. She
She
had a gun
showed up
on.
and
She had a cute outfit that was all black. That's what
right, her
she.
hair was slicked
Hair
back,
was slicked back. Yes,
she was there. And sometimes you just need to be there. So anyway, um, as soon as Drew and potentially Diana got them about the game, then Monet just kind of grabs the gat and just just
which
to make
is
sure.
just to make sure everybody's nice and dead.
Nice and sleep.
Once they figured out, okay, they trying to set us up, they thought we was about to be dead. Let them think we dead for a minute. We about to plant these bodies in my car, burn the car.
I was a nice ass G wagon. I
I
that would have had
know.
that black on black. That was a nice G wagon. I wouldn't have wanted to part with that.
I
But I
wouldn't
mean,
have either. But she had to do what she had to do.
she had to do what
So
she had to do.
they cut their fingers off and took out all their teeth. So that makes it harder to
Identify the
identify the
bodies.
body. So that made it bought them some more time. So after this, Carter and Noma link up and basically they like, look, this is what it is. We not sure who's in that car because forensics is still figuring it out. Of course, she's pissed. Tosses some insults their way and then goes
And
on.
Carter doesn't care, and I
He really
appreciate that
don't
from the
care.
standpoint that he's like, "Fuck you gonna do?"
What you gonna
Like,
do? You're a criminal. I don't care.
I don't care.
I really
Like
don't
you
care.
want us to rush forensic? Like, fuck you think this is? Everything don't revolve around you.
She's like, you're lucky
Essentially,
you don't work for me because like, bitch, shut up.
like
How about that? How about that? How about that? Huh?
Uncle
Shut up.
Phil, get your girl, cause she tripping. Anyway, so Noma calls Kane, and Kane is frustrated trying to
Right,
articulate
the
vows for a
vows.
person that he don't really fuck with.
Right.
So, um, basically, she tells him like, "Oh, your mother's not gonna come," blah blah blah, and he was gonna call her, but she deters him from calling. Um, so that's kind of that little seed being planted or
Mm-hmm.
something of that effect. And then we go to Tariq, who he this nigga Tariq was acting like Carlton when Will got shot. That's what Tariq was doing. He over here fake knocking stuff over.
He's like,
Davis
I
looking at
killed
him.
my own father. You think I won't take them out? What's wrong with them? I was like, bruh, you
Yeah,
just
I'm
yelling
like,
that shit out. Why?
right, like, why are you screaming like this? Like, yeah, this nigga, I mean, like, even though he ain't licensed, he's still your lawyer. Now you just gonna confess. Like, ain't no statutes and limits. Anyway, and Davis is kind of like, you're emotional. You gotta relax. Well, no, first he leads with like, betrayal was tough. And Tariq is like, I'm mad at myself or something to that effect. Because he's like, I never trusted
Right,
them.
exactly.
Um, so basically Davis is trying to calm him down because he's like, look, we have to put a plan in place at this point. We know what it is, so how do we respond? And I guess Tariq attempts to calm down in order to think
I mean, he
without
does because he
emotion.
once they link up with Monet, Drew, and Diana, they do have a plan, but
Right. And so
he
when on the other end with Monet and Drew and Diane, then, she's expressing how grateful she is that they came through and saved her. And, she kind of has a moment of, just kind of talking about how much she appreciates it and all, she's being more vocal in how she feels about her
mm-hmm,
kids as opposed to her usual shit talking.
yes.
Um, Yes.
Well, I mean, again, this is almost like foreshadowing what happens later because it's almost like she has epiphany, like, let me actually treat these kids for real, like I feel, so they can know.
Well,
Because
yes. And so with that, then she asked, like, if you let me know if you ended or not. And they like, Mom, we here with you. And so then they link up with Tariq and Davis to
mm-hmm.
come up with the plan on how they're gonna get them about the paint.
Which they come up with one, but Davis is pretty, and Monet for that matter, they kind of like, well, you're gonna need Effie and Braden for whatever you're trying to do because it's not enough hands to, do the diversions and all the deceptions that we need to do. But
Right.
Tyreek is reluctant about both of them. One, because Effie, he feel like he
He
can't
don't trust her.
trust her. And then
And
Braden, he
rightfully
don't
so.
trust because this nigga is all hyping it up right now, and
This
he
nigga
don't
is
trust that
coked up
shit.
and simped out. And ain't
Simped
nothing
out and
wrong than a coked up simp.
ugh. So he is rightfully distrustful of both parties, but he reluctantly includes them. And the scene where he's talking to both of them is funny because like Braden is pretty much like you to help me with my little fuckery in the last episode, so I'm down for whatever because I know you my guy. And then Effie is pretty much like I need to do whatever I can to make the transition to being at Stanford actually
Well,
happen
Effie is
without
very reluctant. Like, I don't want to breeze
right.
over that. Like,
Oh
she's
no, she
reluctant.
is.
She's still talking shit about she didn't who she brought up, Lauren, and then she
Lauren ain't
brought
even
up
in this whole
Diane being,
season.
and then she's bringing up Diane being pregnant. Like, she ain't pregnant. Like, you just mad because it's always someone else over that box that you throwing out that niggas keep ducking from. So that's what that is. However,
I just
you
want to
know,
note that I don't be saying nothing about the girl box. This is what she be saying, and
they
I
know it's
don't
me.
want nothing to
They
come
know
back
it's
because
me.
I don't be saying nothing like
They
that.
know it's me. Look, I ain't gonna never want no box from her in power life or real life. It's me. In the power universe, ma'am, then they are scripting you to have trash box. But I digress as far as that concerned.
Oh my
But
God. So after
basically
that,
she decides to be in with them
mm,
because if Noma's out the picture, then she can get out the game. Because when
right,
her and Kane are having this conversation after that weak sex that they had, then Kane is like, "Oh, I want to be Frank Lucas. I want to be, Bumpy
Nikki
Johnson. Blah blah
Barnes.
blah. I want to be immortal, and I'm not. And don't judge me for what I want, even if it don't make sense to you, because what you want don't make sense to me." Which was real, And so, but he also told her like, "You in the game, and you really can't get out." So now she
Which was
sees this
real.
as an out. So
Mm,
she's like, okay, if I do this and she's gone, then I can finally be out.
right.
So that was the selling point for her.
And then after that, Davis distracts Noma with like some paperwork that she says that she needs to sign. And then he takes one of her main bodyguards out to shit, middle of
No
nowhere,
man's
essentially.
land.
And saying that he was, what did he say? He was
He said
taking
he was
her to,
meeting Vladim or something like that. He was
right,
meeting Vladim
which
out
he's
there.
already gone.
Yeah, but he don't
And
know that.
right, and basically, he had a gun to him, but old boy wasn't going down easy. They start wrestling, and
But oh, he caught him.
but
Who
he
he
be in
caught
the
him?
gym, man. He be in the gym
Man,
because he hit
we
he
saw
he
we
didn't
saw
even
all that.
understand what he was about. He was like surprised he killed the dude because he thinking I'm just putting him to sleep. Like, no, no, no. You be benching like 300 pounds with them arms, dog. Like you crushed his whole shit.
So Davis catches a body.
Right.
So yeah. And now we get to the wedding.
Hmm. So at the wedding, basically they, do the little joint or whatever,
It
but
goes as
everybody's
normal.
everybody's weapons are getting taken or they
Right.
getting checked heavily for weapons. And I like the little spot. It was actually pretty,
Yeah.
on short notice. She put something together.
Oh yeah.
I ain't gonna hold her,
Oh yeah, for
you
sure.
know. And
Um,
besides being trash, it was nice seeing the little Nigerian wedding stuff happening because I wouldn't mind catching one of those, YouTube world.
okay. So yeah. Um, the wedding happens and Monet is not there for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
And where are we now at the reception?
So at the reception is when things start getting a little wonkety because all his people was basically escorted out. and she's telling him that
She
Monet.
started getting weird and being like, like, oh, we married now, like, so is it me or Monet and da 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 da. And he like, fuck is you talking about? Like, where does he even come from?
Right.
Like, yeah. So
But
now,
before that, actually, we kind of skipped the part, and this is super important. Tariq is at the church, and this is why he need Braden and
Effie.
Effie, because she took out the cameras, and Braden basically subdued some priests and some other people, got them out of the church or subdued them basically.
And for the
And
three people who may not have seen the episode and just want the cliff notes or whatever this is, then Drew told everyone that Carter goes to confessional
mm,
once a week. And so
mm,
that was the time to get him. He's there alone. He goes at the same time and he sits in the same spot. So if you want to catch him, that's where you catch him. But it's heavy, it's cameras and all the things. So that's what Effie was, needed for. And Drew was
mm-hmm,
additional muscle
mm-hmm.
given
No,
he's sober, even though he was
no,
not.
Braden.
Braden, I'm sorry, yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Braden was not sober.
Yeah,
He
I
got one
mean,
off, got a little bump off.
hey,
Um,
maybe this shit help, man. I don't
I
know.
mean, I guess he did.
I don't know. I just saw some shit with this a football player his name is Lawrence Taylor. A lot of people know who that is from the name. And he literally did coke and drank and did all the things and averaged like 15 sacks a year. And he was like, "Man, I can't imagine how good I would have been if I didn't do that." And then people was like, "Well, what if that was what made you good? Who knows?" Because he literally is like, I know dudes that didn't drink or smoke or do nothing, and they was trash. So it be that way sometimes.
I guess.
So
I
that was
suppose.
Braden's little moment. However, Tyreek gets the drop on himself because he's not paying attention. Because look, Carter is Carter. He's a cop. He has trained. He knows how to distract people and get the drop on people. So he
Yeah.
was very unghost like. That's what I'm gonna say.
And also, so, again, Tariq put, Carter goes to confession. Tariq is on the other side because they didn't put the priest to sleep. He didn't get him a little nap in. So Tariq is on the other side. And instead of getting his James St. Patrick on and just shooting homie through the joint, or just coming off on the other side and not saying nothing and shooting him, then he just comes over, put a gun to his head, pull him out, turn him around. They get to talking. He tells him like, "Oh, I know you killed what's the homie name?
Zion,
Zion." Like he gave him a whole chance to do way too much, and it
yeah,
just
it didn't work out.
cringe.
It didn't
It
work
did
out.
not work out.
It didn't
It
work
really
out.
didn't work out at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the after
He
Tariq
arrests
kind of
Tariq,
dropped the ball and get
right?
arrested.
Like a damn fool.
Um, Thankfully, he did have Braden and Effie there to back him up because they followed him with Carter and actually ran his ass off the road
But
and caught. Hmm.
before that, because Monet was outside around back. And so when they came out, they told her, like, yeah, that got fumbled. And Noma knows because Carter called her. So she's like, oh shit, I have to go because I gotta, what I'm saying, get
Make
my
sure
kids.
that Kane is cool, basically,
And the kid,
and
Diane,
they
yeah.
all there. Yeah, they all
Mm-hmm.
there. So,
So,
they run Carter into like a truck and they get in an accident where he gets hurt, but that also gives them opportunity to get because Tariq is in the back seat, so he cool. Carter is fucked up. They get Carter, throw him in the trunk or whatever, and take him to some weird
dip off
looking
spot.
dip off spot. And then we cut to well, before that, Carter is basically like, yo, if my people don't hear from me at a certain time, then the whole city gonna be looking for me type shit, which I'm sure he got it set up that way because he's him.
But let's discuss the fact really quick that if Tariq was more like his daddy and just got him up out the paint, then Braden would not had to mess up that beautiful 96 Impala running this fool off the road because that was not a part of the plan.
That just really hurt my
Like
chest a
shouts
little
out to
bit.
Braden for coming through in the clutch yet again, coked up and all.
Yep.
Shout out to him, but he shouldn't have had to do that, Tariq. Over his centipede.
That's a classic.
So you just don't let the nigga do the whole confessional? Like, shoot him.
Just shoot him. That's all you had to do. But whatever. It's neither here nor there.
I had to get that off. You're right.
So
but I had to get that off.
They cut back to the wedding. Noma or the reception. And Noma is at this point taking all his people off the board and isolating him because she feels that he is a part of this plot.
Well, does she feel like he's a part of it, or is she just to the point? Because I didn't interpret it as she thinks he's a part of it. I interpreted it as, okay, at this point you got to make a choice because she got to go.
Yeah.
And if he didn't know, then she knew that he was literally about to find out, and that as soon as he found out, he was going to try to get her up out the paint. Right. Exactly. So that's why she turns into the whole like, is it me or is it Monet? And da 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 and all this other stuff. And he's like, what are you even talking about? Like he's like, what are you even like? Why am I tied up? Like, right. First of what's going on? And what are you talking about? You British weirdo. So it definitely is that.
So Diana and Drew were taken out, but they kind of like get themselves free from those people.
They don't get themselves free.
Oh, Monet.
Monet comes through and starts to regulate.
Yeah, that was the first regulation was that, and then she go through the house with the silencer on the gun and just start
with the Tupac plan. And can we talk about the fact that bitch was slaying? Oh, that outfit was ridiculous.
Outfit was fire, and she was killing everybody. It was pretty like 50 set her up nice for her swan song. I'm gonna give them that.
That there came through. Popping all them goofy ass niggas.
Come with me, Hail Mary.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me,
boy. Very, very epic, very epic. So
basically she catches one of them. She don't pop him. She gets him to take her to where they got Kanan.
Mm-hmm.
And Kane, you're right. I'm sorry. So so he takes her where they got Kane, and she pretty much hears him saying like, yeah, she may, have her moments. She may talk down to me and X, Y, and Z, but like, growing up where I grew up, like dealing with what I did, like she knew she had to, she had to protect me, right. But she had to prepare me for the world that we were in. And so she hears him giving her that respect. Because again, there was, throughout the season, literally throughout this whole season, every time they have any type of correspondence, it's them putting each other down. But this episode was them lifting each other up in spite of their differences. Mm-hmm. And, in this moment, it being like, okay, yeah, we may do all of that, but when it really comes down to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it is. And so, she came through blasting. Used the dude as a nice little shield, and that was cool, you know what I'm saying? And that raggedy ass Noma is just like, well, Kane chose you, Monet. And because he chose you, then you're going to watch him die. And you saw the look on her face like, damn,
Yeah.
now I got to be up out of here because there's no universe where I'm going to watch them kill him and me
Right.
not do nothing about
All
it.
right. And she just started blasting and went out like Cleo and fucking
It
set
was
it off,
giving
man.
Cleo, but it with a better visual because
Yes.
Cleo really looked like a nigga named Cleo.
Yeah.
But Monet,
She was looking good. My
she went
Mary.
out
Yes, Lord.
slaying.
Yes, Lord. Had her
And
makeup
and
and everything together.
and also we have to give Kane, also known as Woody the Great, the actual actor, his flowers because the scene, like he's laid on the floor, pad up, watching her die as he saw her get killed to save him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Drew and Diane came through. And again, Diane ain't shooting at nothing. Um,
Damn thing.
but she's there.
She's there. She had
She,
a cute outfit on and a gun.
we can say a lot about Diane, but she has perfect attendance. She she is present. She shows up. She shows up. She is present.
I can't deal with you. That was perfect though. That was
She
you
has
had
perfect
perfect
attendance.
attendance. She's there. Even when she's not supposed to be, goddamn it, there. That bitch is there every goddamn it time, ain't she? She there.
She has
So
perfect attendance. So
Monet
basically, they shoot enough to get Noma and them to like just flee.
leave, but they obviously took Monet out, and they are
And it was just a very emotional moment
sad.
with
I
Kane
had a
seeing
tear
that.
too. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, you see Kane, he didn't saw it. You saw the emotion in his face again. Very good acting. And
Mm-hmm.
even though earlier this season, Drew tried to take her out a couple of times himself.
Mm-hmm.
Even he was like, God damn it. I was just bullshitting for real.
Right.
Because if I wanted her out, obviously it would have happened.
Right.
Because
They didn't want to kill their mom. And
well, we
then
know Diana didn't. She was the main one that was just saying stuff. But Drew, we was like, you
no,
really about to
no.
try to poison her, like you know. But
They
even he was like emotional about what had happened. And that was pretty much how it wrapped up.
yeah.
Um so now we have the finale
And
and
yo, from the previews to next week, it is going to be a doozy. It's probably going to be another extended
oh, it better be.
episode of our recap because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot to talk about, just like this one was. But on that note, we're going to end it because we definitely covered everything.
Yes,
I
indeed.
am Creed of Exit Studios and architectsofmars.com and my co-host Eon.
Coach Tamara Simone.
And we will be back next week for the final episode of Ghosts of Power Book 2 Ghosts. It's been a ride, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty impactful ending. So I'm looking forward to it, and we will be back next week. Peace, peace.
Peace, peace.